It started with the lights. My name is Ryan. I'm 34, and I bought my first house 6 months ago in a brand new subdivision outside Raleigh, North Carolina. The place was perfect on paper. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, open floor plan quartz counters, and the entire home wired for smart living. The previous owner, Victor Lang, had upgraded everything. Philips Hue lights in every room, Yale smart locks on all doors, Nest thermostat, Ring cameras inside and out, even voice control through built-in ceiling speakers. The realtor said Victor had taken a sudden job in California and wanted a quick sale, so he left the whole system intact. Saves you thousands, she told me. Just create your own account, and you're good. I moved in the first week of June, sweating through boxes in the Carolina heat. And by the end of the first month, I was in love with the place. I'd come home from my sales job, say, "Hey Google, I'm home," and the lights would fade up to a warm 40%. The thermostat would drop 2 degrees, and the front door would lock behind me. It felt like the house was happy to see me. I even bragged about it on a group chat with my buddies back in Charlotte. The first glitch happened on a Tuesday night in late July. I was half asleep on the couch, watching a game when every light in the living room slowly brightened to full blast. Not a flicker, gradual, like someone turning a dimmer. I sat up, heart kicking, and opened the app. No activity logged. I turned them off manually. 10 minutes later, they came back on at 30%. I unplugged the hub in the closet, waited 5 minutes, plugged it back in. Everything seemed normal. I chalked it up to a firmware bug and went to bed. 2 nights later, the front door unlocked itself at 2:47 a.m. The app sent me a push notification. Door unlocked, keypad. I ran downstairs in boxers, phone flashlight on. The deadbolt was turned. The handle clicked open when I tried it. Outside, the street was dead quiet. No cars, no footsteps. I relocked it, changed the 4-digit code again, and added a secondary PIN only I knew. The next morning, I called the security company. The rep was polite, but bored. "We see this sometimes with new installs. Reset the base station, and it should clear." I did. For 4 days, nothing happened. Then the thermostat war started. I'd set it to 72 before leaving for work. I'd come home, and it would be 64, the AC roaring like a jet engine, or I'd wake up freezing at 3 a.m. With the app showing the temperature had been dropped to 58 at 2:15 a.m. No user logged in. I enabled every security setting, turned on 2-factor, even called an electrician friend who came over on his lunch break and confirmed the wiring was clean. No extra devices, no hidden relays. I started keeping a notebook, dates, times, what changed. The pattern was always the same between 1:30 and 3:30 a.m. when I was asleep. Never when I was awake and watching the app. August brought the voices. I was in the kitchen, making a sandwich around 9 p.m. when the ceiling speaker in the living room crackled. A man's voice, low and calm, like he was reading from a script. "You're using too much mayo again, Ryan, just like I told you last week." I dropped the knife. The house was silent except for the fridge hum. I walked into the living room and stared at the speaker. Nothing. I unplugged every smart device I could reach. The hub, the Echo, the TV. The voice didn't come back that night. But the next evening, while I was on the couch, the same speaker. The gray paint in the office looks cheap. I would have gone with the beige I picked. I recorded it on my phone this time. The voice was clear, male, mid-40s maybe, with a slight southern drawl. I played it for my buddy Derek over FaceTime. He went pale. Dude, that's not a glitch. Someone's in your system. I changed every password again, deleted the old owner's account, or thought I did, and called the realtor, demanding Victor Lang's new contact info. She hemmed and hawed, finally admitted the California address he'd given was a UPS store. His LinkedIn showed him posting from San Diego, but when I zoomed in on his latest photo, him smiling at a beach, the background had a billboard for a Raleigh car dealership I drove past every day on my commute. That night, the lights came on full in every room at 2:12 a.m. The speakers played my own Spotify playlist, songs I'd listened to that week in order. The front door unlocked, relocked, unlocked again. My phone blew up with notifications. Then a single text from an unknown number. Stop trying to lock me out of my house. I slept in my car in the driveway with the doors locked and a baseball bat across my lap. The police came the next morning. 2 officers, one older guy named Sergeant Mills, who actually listened. I showed them the notebook, the videos, the text. They pulled the system logs. Every change had come from an IP address in Raleigh, not California. They took the hub as evidence and told me to stay with a friend for a few nights. I did. Derek let me crash on his couch. While I was there, my Ring app, still connected somehow, showed motion in my living room at 11:47 p.m. The clip was 20 seconds long. The lights turning on and off in sequence, like Morse code. Then the camera feed cut to black. When I went back the next day with Sergeant Mills, the house looked normal except for one thing. On the kitchen island sat a single coffee mug. Mine, the one I'd left in the sink dirty, now washed, dried, and placed exactly in the center with a post-it note underneath. Missed you. -V. Mills's face changed. He called for a full forensic team. They found nothing. No fingerprints that didn't belong, no hidden mics beyond the ones already installed, no signs of forced entry. The smart lock logs showed the door had been opened with the master code Victor had never given up. The security company finally admitted there was a back door in the firmware for previous owner recovery that couldn't be fully removed without replacing every device. They offered to buy the whole system out at full price. I told them to shove it. I had a locksmith change every physical lock and deadbolt. I ripped the hub out of the wall with a crowbar and drove it to the police station myself. For 10 days, the house was quiet. I started to relax. I even had people over for Labor Day. Derek, a couple co-workers. We laughed about the haunted smart house and drank too much beer. Then, on September 12th, I came home from work at 6:15 p.m., and the garage door was already open. I never leave it that way. Inside, my office chair was turned to face the door like someone had been sitting there waiting. My laptop was open to my email inbox. A new draft was waiting to be sent to my boss. I quit. Personal reasons. Effective immediately. The cursor blinked. I called 911 while backing out of the garage. They found tire tracks in the grass behind the house that didn't match my car. The neighbor across the street, an older lady named Mrs. Patel, said she'd seen a silver Toyota Camry in my driveway around noon. Same make and model. Victor Lang had registered when he lived there. She remembered the license plate, started with the same letters because it had annoyed her when he used to park it on the curb. Victor Lang was never in California. He'd quit his job the week after closing, told everyone he was moving, then rented a room 10 miles away under a different name. He'd been driving over every few nights, letting himself in with the master code he'd kept, walking around my house while I slept, touching my stuff, Watching me through the cameras, he'd never really surrendered. He'd even used my shower once, left a single wet footprint on the bath mat that I'd dismissed as my own. The police finally caught him 2 days later in a Walmart parking lot, living out of that silver Camry. In the trunk, they found a duffel bag with copies of my house keys. How he got them, they still don't know. Printouts of my bank statements, screenshots of my texts, and a notebook filled with my daily schedule. What I ate, when I jerked off, what time I turned the lights out. He'd titled the first page, "My House, New Tenant Log." He told the detectives he wasn't stalking me. The house was still his. He'd only sold it because the market was hot and he needed cash, but he never planned to leave it behind. The smart system was his way of checking in. He seemed genuinely confused why I was upset. Victor is in custody now, charged with burglary, stalking, identity theft, and a bunch of other things. The DA says he'll probably take a plea. My house is back on the market. I'm renting a bland apartment downtown with no smart anything, just dumb locks and a regular thermostat I control with my actual hands. But sometimes, late at night in the new place, I still wake up and check the lights anyway. I still triple check that the deadbolt is turned, and every once in a while I swear I smell the faint scent of the cedarwood cologne Victor used to wear, even though I've thrown out every single thing I bought from that house. If you ever buy a place with a smart home system already installed, do this. Replace every single device. Rip out the wiring. Change the locks the day you get the keys. And for the love of God, don't just create your own account, because the last owner might still be logged in, and sometimes he never logs out.